What's good, y'all? Welcome back to the Verdependent podcast, where we depend on the Verde and Black for our everyday vibes. This week, we discuss what happened in our loss against Portland, check in on Serie A and the J-League, and preview our Saturday match against Colorado Rapids before closing out the episode with a stoppage time rundown of the hottest Austin FC, MLS, and World Footy storylines of the past week. I'm Logan.
What's up, everyone? This is Paul.
And that's all it is.
That's
Free
all
heated
there is.
takes. Paul. I'm not tracking yet because we've only done 4, but eventually I will also start tracking what's been said and what's been proven. Give us your preheated take for this week, third match week of the year.
Absolutely. So for my preheated take, it's going to be continuing with the trend of center backs now that we have Julio out. But we will see Leo Väisänen's first minutes of 2025 MLS League play against Colorado.
Let's go. The odds are in your favor.
Yeah.
Odds are in your favor. So we'll see if that comes true. You think specifically this weekend, though, that he'll get his first minute?
Specifically, I have a feeling that it makes sense for Brendan to kind of take a rest. He's been doing really well. I could see the argument for continuing his form, but also I think if we see the partnership from offseason where it was mostly Alexander and Leo, then, Nico will want to make sure that Svatak feels comfortable with his left-hand man.
I like it. We'll see if that comes true. My preheated take is a season long one. I'm thinking Austin FC will have its best defensive season in club history in 2025.
Oh, okay.
And we'll get more into that as we review these games. But so far, it's looking better than it ever has in the smallest of sample sizes. So,
of course.
Let's move on to this Portland game, man.
Let's do it.
Last weekend, Austin left Portland with their first loss of the season in what turned out to be a frustrating end to an otherwise okay game. Portland's David da Costa struck the net in the 89th minute on a free kick that wasn't even meant for goal, leaving Brad Stuver stuck in place as the ball cleared all heads and bounced through to give Portland the only goal of the game. Brandon Vasquez caused the quote-unquote foul that led to this free kick, adding to the already frustrating night from the Austin attack. Paul, we are rational adults who understand that 2 matches with a new coaching staff and a new roster isn't nearly enough time to make judgments. So, having said that, the early trend of Nico Estevez' offense is worrying. Is there cause for concern in the attack?
Wait, hold on, time out. Nico Estevez' offense is worrying? Question mark? Worrying?
Yeah.
I'm asking because the first game, they absolutely commanded against SKC. Granted, the scoreline didn't reflect that, but I don't know. Going back to the rational adults idea, I do think that it is not time to be panicked. But again, I am going to continue on that trend of questioning our $10 million man's finishing ability. Granted, he's not getting the best of service, so to speak, but. You can maybe start questioning a little bit. That's okay. I think it's fair for you to question because of the expectation that comes along with the price tag. But yeah,
fair.
Yeah.
I would say, and we'll get more into this, but for all the money spent up top, we're seeing not much in return in terms of quality shots from those guys in dangerous positions. I think Sabovic had one of our best chances of the night. And it was a random, I think you said this Alex Ring-esque 26-yard, rocket to the bottom corner that ended up in a corner for us, but not super dangerous in the general vibe compared to what Portland was getting with their B unit, at least early on. Looking elsewhere, we saw Dubrsarski and Uzuni both make their debuts for the club off the bench. What were your thoughts on these 2 guys individually, collectively within the fit of the team?
Right. Yeah. God, I feel terrible because I was watching this game up in Dallas with some family, had some in-laws and all that good stuff that were generous enough to let me watch and put the game on.
Yeah.
Instead of the FC Dallas match. And I'm sorry, this is a tangent because it's like you sit there and you're talking the team up and you're going like, hey man, here's this new $13 million signing,
right.
He's going to have all these goals and blah, 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 blah. And I'll be honest with you, brother. There was a solid stretch of like 13, 14 minutes where I forgot Uzuni was on the pitch.
Yeah, we talked about this.
And I felt bad because I was the one that was like, I'm ready to, have my hands up, do his little goal celly.
Yeah. No, I feel the same way, man. It was so often that, there's a pretty wide view of the broadcast, right? Showing the field. And more often than not, at least in my, my memory, a few days removed, Uzuni was past the frame of the camera, pushing the front line of the attack.
Correct.
To make runs in behind, to stretch out the midfield. And I think maybe less so my expectation, but what I want out of my $13 million DP, who was brought in assumingly as a left winger. He was playing centrally on Saturday, but I would expect that he would be a creator, get the ball to his feet, let him run, let him, make something happen. And we didn't see any of that. And I was hoping, when I saw him come in the middle, that it was maybe more a Ricky Puig-esque kind of tactic there, where
drop back a little and
drop back a little bit, get the ball with space in front of you, have the front three stretching the field, and let him run forward, right, and take advantage of that space and get some pace in the attack there. And we saw, honestly, what looked a lot like a Driussi Zardes front two, where they're both just kind of in the box, searching for the end of a cross that never really came with quality. And that was unexpected, but maybe it should have been expected, given the coaching tree that Estevez comes from. I don't know. It just it looked too familiar, and I don't want that.
No, I feel that, man. I feel that. I think that concern is warranted. I will say for Nico's debut, though, on the other side of the pitch,
Yep.
I felt like for the most part, like he did well. Nothing that really stood out to me. So I think that's a good thing generally with a debut like this, especially for such a young talent. But for Uzuni, I think it's a credit to Portland's defense in the sense where they were able to continue that low to mid block and have that numerical advantage in the midfield. And we weren't doing a good job of keeping the width that would in turn create these channels for Uzuni to make that run in a little bit better, or have the midfielder, have that through ball. Yeah. And man, it just kind of.
I was hoping for a little bit more of what we saw in the SKC game, where we dominated in possession in a creative way, not just for the sake of having the ball, but very much having the ball in or near the attacking third. Good movement off the ball and making the defense run around. If Portland's going to, set up in that block, I'd like to see some threatening runs and something that keeps them moving and not just allowing them to wait for a cross to come in.
Yeah.
So that was just, I don't know, underwhelming. But again, it's week 2. We are rational adults. No, it's not sarcasm. We are sometimes. We get the preheated takes out early so that we can be rational the rest of the episode.
Right. But I gotta ask you this, man. I gotta ask you this.
Yeah.
Using the logic that we've used during preseason, when these games don't matter because it's before league play, but we hype the team up when they do get the dub, and we just chalk it up to it's just preseason. When they get the loss. Now I'm looking at these two opponents in SKC and Portland, and you do have to start to kind of question it, where it's like, okay, these teams are not in the best run out. Granted, it's the MLS, it's early, and there's not any one team that's absolutely running away with it. Although you can look in the East and go, wow, those teams are scoring a lot of goals.
Yeah. I think the assumption was that Portland would be they're not the healthiest team. They have a lot of new faces who I guess people assume weren't going to be as talented as the guys they replaced. Maybe not in all cases, but that was just kind of the general narrative that even the broadcast was kind of harping on.
Right.
Like, a lot of new faces and a lot of injuries, and we'll see what kind of club or squad they put out. And I think they had the benefit of the unknown, and that those guys came out and played well. And maybe the bar was set pretty low for them, and they were like, "Oh, I'm a baller still, so like I can go out and play a healthy squad in Austin FC and eke out a win." So I don't know.
I think I'm also just projecting a little bit here, and what I'm trying to say ultimately is that we've looked at across the league, and we've seen Denke in Cincinnati, we've seen Emmanuel Latte-Lath in Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
the new big name DPs in the league, and it's like they come out, Wilfred Zaha even at Charlotte immediately come on, impact, and it's just, it would happen to be Austin FC's luck, right? That our big name goes out and can't get it done. Granted, it is a very small, minuscule 30-minute sample, but again,
isn't afforded the opportunity to make that same impact as the other guys are.
Right.
I think that's more of the reality than him not making an impact. I think he just wasn't given the opportunity in the run out the positioning he was put in. So anyway, I mentioned this in the preheated takes, that we're going to have the best defensive year in our club history.
Right.
Well, on the other end, Austin's defense has seemed to buck the trend of being generally bad historically for the club.
Right.
Through 2 matches, Austin has yet to allow an open play goal, and Stuver has only had to make 3 saves on the year. Is the defense really that much better this year, or have we had the benefit of playing 2, assumingly, below average underperforming clubs to start the year?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B, maybe, I think in general, what I've seen in this defense is there's a consistency with Stuver, Julio, even for that matter, and Heinz Eich, who came in, with not a lot of expectation, but he's somehow managed to play above his pay grade, so to speak,
Yeah.
And I think that's a good thing for us, and I think that's just a matter of the defense doing them in that sense. But I think it's also fair to say that we have played 2 underperforming clubs to start the year, and it's not been that big of a test.
Right. Maybe we'll see if this is our new reality as we play more games, and maybe more clean sheets pop up or more low scoring games, and then we can start saying it's real. But that's the fun part about preheated takes and making absurd claims.
For sure.
The news, of course, and kind of mentioned this in passing, Julio Cascante suffered a non-contact injury near the end of the first half, resulting in the debut of Ukrainian international Alexander Zvatak.
Mm-hmm.
What implications, if any, does this have early on in the season outside of, maybe new guys getting some opportunity? Just how might this affect the stability of our backline?
Right. And just to confirm, this is not a debut necessarily, because Svatak did play in 2024, season debut. Yeah.
Season debut.
Gotcha. Anyway, I would say as far as implications go, we definitely lose more of that creativity coming out of the back line that Julio does offer. As someone who was often critical of Julio's defensive ability, what he offered in terms of passing ability and being able to look at that diagonal cross and mostly execute to a degree.
Yeah, he was hitting dots this year so far.
We lose that, and I think Zvatak's game is a much more defensive presence. We have yet to see him really kind of be that creative center back, so to speak.
Yeah, facilitator, right?
But I do feel good with him in the back line there, knowing that he's really good to close down any oncoming attack. So.
Yeah, I think assuming he's starting, whoever the coaching staff believes is the more creative center back next to him, who has the accuracy on those long balls, I'd imagine that's who gets the start. So is it Leo? Is it Heinz Eich? We don't know. But it'll be interesting to see. And also, it could be that it's just a game or two that Julio is missing precautionarily. I think he had his MRI yesterday, and we haven't heard the results of that yet. But we'll see.
Yeah.
Recover quickly, please. Let's get into halftime, man. Let's get into a little leagues correspondence.
Dude, I'm so excited about this.
Yeah, so let's do our quick check-in with Serie A and J-League. We'll go back and forth. I'll start it off with Serie A.
Yeah.
So with just 7 matches to go in the Serie A season, the usual suspects are top of the table with Inter, Napoli, Atalanta, and Juventus leading the table. Atlanta boasts 2 of the top 4 goal scorers in the league, with Matteo Retegui leading all scorers with 21 goals on the season. I believe the next closest is at 15. AC Milan and U.S. men's national team's Christian Pulisic has cooled off since his blazing start to the season, registering only 1 goal and 4 assists since October 19th. He had registered 5 goals and 2 assists in the first 7 matches of the season. And former Chelsea man Romelu Lukaku has continued adding decent production, registering 16 goal contributions for the third straight season and his third club in that time. So shout out Chelsea boys.
Hell yeah, man. Yeah, and on the J-League side of things, looking at the table, we've got Kashiwa Reysol, leading right now with 10 points. Also tied at 10 is Shonen Bellmare for the top two. And then
hard names, dude. Shit goes so hard.
I know, dude. I know. We've got Sanfrecce Hiroshima in the third place. And the way that these placements work out, if you're familiar with like the Prem or European styles, where it's usually like the top 4 or 5 places get the top continental play.
League. Right.
For the J-League, J-League 1 at least, it's the top 2 go to the Champions League elite, so to speak, tournament, and then the third spot goes to the second round, so kind of like the Europa League of that. So looking at the bottom, one of the clubs that I had listed as really excited to follow, the Uara Red Diamonds, down there in the mud at 19th. So hoping that they get out, but also hear this name, Nagoya Grampus.
That goes so
Grampus,
hard.
Brother. With a name like that, you should be in 20th. And so, they're down bad, 1 point. It is just the 4th match week. But excited to see what's going on.
Yeah. Back to Serie A, checking in on current Chelsea players on loan. João Felix's struggles have continued while on loan at AC Milan. After starting 7 straight matches since his loan and registering 0 goal contributions, he has been relegated to the bench for a Milan squad that continues their fall down the table. Defender Renato Vega has started all 5 matches for 4th place Juventus since joining the club, notably at center back, where they have won out their league games and fell in tragic aggregate fashion in the Champions League to PSV. Lastly, Cesare Casade has played well for 11th place Torino, starting the last 4 games and registering a goal in their 2-0 win over bottom of the table Monza.
Oh yeah, which again, going back to another former Chelsea player, Pedro, who played at Monza.
Yes. Yep. Good shout.
There's that one. But and looking over at J-League, we don't necessarily have ex-Chelsea players to speak on, but I did wanted to bring up some storylines, some kind of trends that I was looking at. To start off the first one, we have this player, Koki Kumasaka, who, for me, this touches on a little bit of like the contract situation over in the J-League. So contracts are leveled from A, B, and C. And so like C is kind of like your entry professional level contract. You're only, I forget what the salary amount is for
rookie
that, but this kid
kind of thing.
went through the academies and did the collegiate style thing, then went back to the pro side, started on a C contract, recently got bumped up to the A contract. And it was just interesting to see like that's a thing. Like mid-season, you can kind of reach this kind of minute tier, and then the threshold to get into the next contract spot.
It's interesting.
So I just thought that was really cool. Going back to my Red Diamonds, their manager Scorza recently is being how do I say this? Criticized for playing a winger out of position on the right back slot here. So he's playing winger Sakine at right back over an actual right back, Ishihara. And that just kind of touches on a little bit of how maybe their off season wasn't so hot in terms of like signing an actual functional right back, where you have to kind of play an attacker outside of their natural position there.
Bro's just a modern savant, bro. Dude, that's what all the good coaches are doing, bro.
I feel that, but
playing right back, like shit.
If he was, if he was leading Uara to like, I don't know, even the top 5 places, sure, he's he's a Pep, regen, but I mean they're sitting in 19th, and it's questionable. Looking on my final headline, we've got Frontail beating the low mid block that Avispa was putting on, and it reminded me of how Austin was playing Portland, and it was just a really interesting contrast, because you have Austin unable to generate the width again to like open up the space in the middle, right? But you see that perfectly with this team, and yeah, I thought it was just a really interesting way to find a team that actually like plays through that low block and get the win. So
Testament to the quality out in
yeah, man,
Japan.
it's fun. It's just it's fun play.
I'm telling you, if you haven't, go look up highlights of a game. They upload them in like an Instagram story type function, but just
Yeah,
on a web page. It's electrifying.
yeah,
For
yeah.
some of those
J-League
games.
International, I think on YouTube, you can just subscribe and
Yep, that's
they stream like 4 games each match week on there.
Yep.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's awesome, man. And then looking at the Serie A teams in the Champions League, Inter Milan are the only Serie A side to make it to the round of 16, where they face Feyenoord in leg one this week. In other
Mm-hmm.
news, Serie A is looking like they will lose their fifth Champions League spot, earned for the nation's collective performance in 2024 European competitions. Italy would go back down to 4 seats for UCL, and as it stands, the Prem and La Liga seem to be the presumed beneficiaries of extra seeds for the top flight continental competition. It's a fun thing that they do year to year. If I say fun thing, it's a competitive advantage that
Absolutely.
the European competitions do year to year, where depending on your nation's performance, league wide across the different tournaments, depending on how well you do, you qualify for extra seeds
Yeah.
in some cases. So Italy's likely going to lose theirs for the 2026
Mm-hmm.
Champions League, but tough break.
Yeah. As it is, man. Um, I forgot if you mentioned this, but I think it was England and Spain that are looking
Yeah,
to
yeah.
maybe
The
take
Prem and
those.
La
Right?
Liga. Yep,
Yeah.
correct. Yep.
On the J League side of things, for the AFC Champions League matches, we've got Yokohama FM that took the win over Shanghai Port today. And
Nice.
some other teams
6:30
that
a.m.
are from the J League are Kawasaki that play tomorrow. So this would be midweek Wednesday.
Yeah.
And their game times are pretty early in the morning. So you've got like kickoffs starting as early as 4 a.m.
Yep.
Up through 6 a.m. and so on. But yeah, Kawasaki plays tomorrow, as well as Vissel Kobe earlier in the day at 4 a.m. And that's just for the first round of 16 leg. And so the second leg is obviously going to be next week. And again, that's Yokohama, Kawasaki, and Vissel Kobe playing their reverse fixtures for that. But yeah, it's just interesting seeing how that's all.
The J League is very much staying in line with the European calendar, which is a part of their players' union plan. So it's good to see, round of 16s across the board. Meanwhile, Open Cup starts in May, or whenever that is. It starts earlier than that, but MLS clubs come in later. Anyway, that concludes our league's correspondence for this month. We'll try to do like the first week of every month, give or take, depending on what's going on.
Yeah.
But with that, we'll keep y'all updated on what's going on in Serie A and J League. Let's take a quick break before we discuss the Colorado Rapids game.
Yo, Lobar, I was looking at your memento from the game last Saturday, and that picture was fire, dude. Why don't you talk to the people and tell them about their new favorite app?
For sure, man. Memento is your sports scrapbook for Austin FC. Your games, your stats, your scores, a memento for every moment. Every memento is yours to personalize. Add your photos from Q2, tag the homies, and relive your unique experience. Every memento is packed with stats, so watch as your sports history grows as you add a memento for each game. From Austin FC to NWSL and NCAA to the Premier League, NFL, and NBA. Track your fan experience from the palm of your hand.
Help the pod out by downloading Memento today. Follow the link in our description or on our socials to start tracking your mementos. Thanks.
And we're back. This Saturday, Austin hosts the Colorado Rapids, who are 0-2-0 on the season. They've allowed 3 goals and scored 3 goals themselves, all in match week 2 against FC Dallas, a 3-3 draw. In their week 1 matchup away at St. Louis City, they registered just 2 total shots in a 0-0 draw, where Colorado goalkeeper Zach Steffen was forced to make 5 saves against a hungry but unsatiated St. Louis offense. Paul, let's start first with lineups.
For sure.
Will Uzuni start? And if so, where on the pitch?
Ooh.
And in place of who?
Right.
Kind of the same question.
Yeah. Well, I think going back to a conversation we had 2 weeks ago about Hader Obrian,
Yeah.
one could argue that his last two performances haven't necessarily been all that fruitful. So I could definitely see a world where a timeline, if you will, where Obrian is benched, Bukhari starts on his natural left wing, and we see, his right wing, and then Uzuni is starting on the left with BV9 obviously at the top. But something tells me that Nico's gonna play safe and maybe not start Uzuni right away. We might see him come on at the start of the second half, but I think we're going to still see the same front three that we've come out with the first two games.
I'm not going to lie. If that happens, I'll fucking cry.
Yeah, get ready to cry, brother.
Start the man, dude. What are we doing?
Bro, you are so... You did this last year. When you were like, why don't we get the new guys? And it's like, they need time. They need time, brother. It's a 34-week season.
We act like we're this quality league, and yet random dudes from Chelsea are coming into Serie A and starting the first game.
Bro, I'll cry.
In the Champions League. Renato Vega started in the Champions League in the first game.
I'll cry right now, dude.
You know what I'm saying?
Like, I know what you're saying, dude.
$1 million man, he got off the bench already. Let's just do it. Stop. We're come on.
Okay.
Come on.
Okay.
We got one goal on the year, dog.
Okay. Look. Start. He's gonna start the man, and then guess what? I cannot wait to see your face, brother, when that hammy gets pulled. And oh my God, I'm just gonna look at you, bro. I'm gonna tell everyone in the South End it's your fault.
Hey, remind me of what league he came from. Uzuni?
Bro.
Just remind me.
La Liga 2, bro.
Okay, and
also maybe
like
the Liga
28. Aren't they like in the last month of their season? Meaning he played pretty much an entire season.
I hear you, dog. I hear you. Hey.
Meaning he's in form.
Hey.
With a month break in the middle of the year.
Hey. Let's get back to the preview, dude.
All I'm saying is I think Uzuni will start. And I think if he does, I'm in line with you. He'll likely come on for Obrian.
Yes.
That's the natural fit.
Sure. Yeah.
Second to that, and this is partly why I think he'll come on for Obrian.
Right.
After two calm and composed appearances off the bench, does Sabovic get the nod in the midfield?
Yes, I think that one is a more agreeable take for the two of us. Who I'll let you answer this question. Who does he come on for?
I mean, I think realistically, Owen.
Yeah.
Owen's come off early each game, and I think he ends up becoming a spot starter, first, second guy off the bench. I don't see how we're not going to take off Ilie. He's the captain. And there's just no world where Danny isn't starting for this club, at least at this point.
Sure.
So I think it's got to be Owen. What about you?
I mean, I'm going to flip that on its head and go, Danny is the perfect midfielder to come off the bench. You know, I love the guy.
Crazy.
I think he's good, but you remember the positions that are currently being taken by Danny and Owen. Danny is the more, conservative, playing behind Owen line, which is where Bassard is going to, probably end up occupying that space. Whereas Owen is being tasked with going a little bit more advanced. So that only, just looking at that itself leads me to believe that Danny's going to come off for Sabovic. But
your reasoning is sound. I like what you're saying.
Oh, geez, thank you, brother.
I'm gonna let everybody else be mad though,
yeah,
because there's no way anyone will be happy with Danny come off the bench. So I'm just gonna let you hold that one.
Right.
Just sound off in the comments. Let Paul know why you hate him.
Right. Yeah. No Danny, no party type beat. Yeah, I want to hear it all. I'm ready.
So you can have that preheated take all for you, dog.
This one's fully cooked, my guy.
Oh shit, I'm eating it. Actually, I'm gonna send it back to the kitchen. That one's crazy. I mean, you do you, dog. That's a crazy take, but your reasoning, I think it's fair. But I think that's more so on the fact that the club didn't sign a true 10.
Right.
At least,
That's fair. I mean, that's we made that bed and we're laying in it currently.
Yeah.
And this is how it
maybe
looks like
Uzuni's
now.
the true 10. Who knows? Maybe Obrian plays the 10 here and there. Those guys have done it before, apparently. But we'll see. I'm curious to see what Nico does with all this.
For sure.
Let's flip the conversation a bit. Colorado Rapids striker Rafael Navarro has been off to a hot start this season, registering 2 goals on 4 shots. Colorado doesn't. They have a decent roster, right? You look at them. What's Cole Bassett's there, guys that have scored in this league and have done it successfully, who've contributed in this league. Going back to Navarro, generally the attack. What will Austin need to do to keep him and the others off the score sheet?
I'm looking at number 5 right now, Alexander Svatok, to just be like white on rice, with that man.
Yeah.
And just cover him. Do not give him any kind of, just staying touch tight, basically, and making sure that he's always accounted for when he's in the box.
Okay. I like that.
I think transition defense has been getting better and it's improving. We're seeing that in the last 2 games against, less than stellar opposition. But
yeah.
You can say the same, that Colorado kind of fits the bill of like a Portland Timbers type, team in form right now. And so it still looks like we have a good opportunity for, 3 full points at home. So,
yeah, I'm hopeful there.
Yeah.
I think I'm expecting a very possession heavy game for Austin, where Colorado is staying back and letting Austin have the ball, and guys like Navarro are going to sprint their ass off once we make a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, like you're saying, that transition defense piece has been getting better, but I think this will be with Julio out, it'll be a true test of what is the mettle of this back line as an entire unit,
For sure.
And just stopping a guy that's hot right now who can score on a whim, only needs a few chances to see the back of the net.
Yeah.
And a guy that's willing to run, So I think that transition defense piece is going to be key. But, I could be wrong. You never know. We could see a third different kind of tactic from Nico in his mini games, and maybe we're the ones countering. Who knows? I sure as hell don't.
That would be wild to bunker at home, brother. But, I
agree. That was a big, just like, hey, I could be completely wrong.
Yeah.
We might see some crazy shit.
I'm going to let you hold that, brother. Let the listener
guys, he got me.
Have that take.
Oh, what are your hopes and dreams for this matchup?
Brother, I just want 3 points. I want the win. I want to take my shirt off and go wee.
Yeah. That's the vibe for sure, man. I want to feel good, bro. Like,
dude, yeah.
I felt good at the opener because it's the first game of the year. There's excitement. We did get the win, right? I know early on I said maybe the offense so far has been worrying. I think generally that's true in my opinion, but it was a fun game. We saw some shots. Bukhari hit a ball off his face and scored a goal. That's pretty cool.
Right.
But I want a dominating win, man. I want multiple goals. I want, convincing offensive sequences that really makes it like, oh, that was purposeful. That felt good. Hell yeah.
Right.
So far, both goals this season, the 1-4 and the 1 against for Austin, have been random bounce throughs on a cross.
Right. Yeah.
Have resulted in a goal. So I want something convincing, bro. I want to laser off Vasquez's foot. He's had a few chances, hit the woodwork. I think it's coming. Yeah. But that's me, man. Score prediction.
I've got a. Gosh, man. 7-1. With this offense, brother, I have no idea.
Yeah.
Let's play it safe. We're gonna go with a nice 2-1 because best ball needs Rafael Navarro to score respectfully. So 2-1 to the good. How about that?
I like that. You know what? I didn't even think best ball in mind. My heart and it says 2-0 Vasquez with the brace.
Right.
Best ball. But my best ball mind says 2-1 Vasquez with the brace, Navarro with the goal as well.
Yeah.
Those are all best ball points for us. So
right.
No, but I will stand on it and say 2-0. I think 2-0 Austin. We get another shutout. And we get a couple goals that are in convincing fashion, and I feel good, and I leave and I go home happy. So
yeah.
Stoppage time. Yeah.
Let's do it.
Let's do it, man. Lionel Messi did not join Inter Miami for their road match at Houston, causing the Houston front office to give away complimentary tickets for a future Dynamo match for fans who showed up to this game. What's up with that, dude?
Brother, the way I laughed, Leo just hates Houston, man. Like, Lionel, Bobo, anda pa allá, whatever. I can't. I cracked up when I saw that post, G.
And all the videos after the fact in the stadium of Inter Miami fans,
the fans, bro,
Messi fans just being sad, but
it got me, bro, when it was the guy wearing the Houston Astros hat, but the Inter Miami Messi kit, bro. Like,
yeah.
And Houston fans make fun of me, brother. Like,
oh, for real, bro.
Y'all gotta go take care of that shit over there, bro.
International city,
Yeah,
that's
right.
funny though. That makes me laugh. San Diego FC star Chucky Lozano suffered a non-contact injury just 30 minutes into their home debut. Dude's 29, can't keep his hammies intact apparently.
Bro, you and him are the same.
Bro, my hammies are fine. It's my knee.
Yeah, we're sorry. Respectfully, yeah.
Respectfully, it's my knee. Anyway, quit deflecting, bro. That's the Mexican national team hero. Tell us how you're feeling, man.
Dude, I mean, for me, that's just a bummer. I did happen to see something that made me chuckle, though. It was the Aaron Rodgers running Jets with the flag, the Jets uniform, right? It's like, this is Chucky's home opener, and you hate to see it, but hopefully,
I feel for San Diego FC fans. I would be very sad.
Right. Yeah, that's right. It's your first shadow favorite team.
It's my shadow club.
Yeah.
I haven't watched a game. Well, I did. I watched a half, and it was boring. But that's what's up. I watched the half when
the game against LA Galaxy was boring.
I watched the first half.
Yeah, fair. That first half was, it was tricky. The second half was good, though.
They were getting their feet under them. First 45 minutes in club history, like it was quote unquote boring. But I didn't see the goals as the point.
Bro, do you remember Austin's first 45 minutes of it? Never mind.
Anyway, I gotta whatever. Best ball update. We're ass.
I was just gonna say.
Yeah, we're in last place. We had 4 DNPs this week. Tough look. Anyway, the U.S. women's national team lose to Japan in the She Believes Cup. This is the first loss, if I'm not mistaken, the first loss for the U.S. women's national team under Emma Hayes.
You're correct.
What are the vibes?
The vibes are, do not panic. This was definitely one of the chiller tournaments to, test the rotation of this young squad. And so I'm not worried one bit about it. Emma knows what she's doing, and Emma I trust. And we move, brother.
I think they're like 11 or 13, 2-1 or some shit like that. Like,
yeah.
Bro.
And I mean, Japan's good, dude. Like, you watch that game, and you're just like, one, Emily Sonnet, respectfully, like, can I go on a tangent here real quick?
Go on a tangent,
bro. She kind of looks like Bobby Hill. And so every time she messes up, I'm always like, God damn it, Bobby.
Bobby.
And so when she ran into Jane Campbell, it was like, for that first Japan goal, it was like, God damn it, Bobby, and it was just one of those things, man, where like, someone like a Naomi Girma, like doesn't do that. But anyway, all that to say, bro, it's whatever. It's fine.
It's fine. We're still, I mean, that tournament, I think it's the top 6 clubs, national clubs facing off against each other. That's the whole point of it.
Not necessarily, because it's like Columbia was like 20 something or something.
True. I phrased that wrong. 6 of the top clubs is kind of how they phrase it in their description of the cup. Anyway, nothing to fret about. It's all good.
Yeah, we're fine.
More women's news. Women's Club World Cup has been postponed to 2027 at the earliest, with rumblings that it may not be at all.
Yeah, dude, this is wild to hear. And I'll be honest, I didn't get a chance to really do a deep dive on it. I was kind of excited to see that they were looking at launching this, but big bummer if this doesn't happen, because
I'm not even going to try to dig too deep. I read the article. This was 2 days ago. The general description, it was actually an email blast. And they were referencing some of the issues that the Club World Cup has in the men's arena from like FIFA rights and a few other things. And they're looking at that as already obstacles to entry and just how it's making it hard to plan, an expansion of the Club World Cup model that has had its issues. So something along those lines.
Tough.
It's tough though. I was excited to see that. That was part of the big, year of football in the U.S. and here we are, maybe not even happening. So closing it out as always with Chelsea. Chelsea men's are taking on Copenhagen in the Conference League round of 16 this week. I believe leg 1 is on Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. What are your thoughts on that?
This should be easy pickings, not gonna lie. Coming off the back of a easy result, what was it, against Southampton?
Yep, Southampton.
Not an actual team.
Bro.
Last time I think the last time we played at Copenhagen was 2011, 2012, something like that. And so it's been a while, but we know success against them. So
give me like a Arsenal PSV, 7-1 kind of vibe.
Please, bro. Like give us just goals.
It's crazy though, because we sold or loaned out most of our Conference League merchants. And João Felix, obviously Mudrik's gone. Though that's only 2, but João Felix is
gone.
That's a lot, brother.
Goals, that's a lot. No, go off, King.
2 of our wingers, the other 2, half our team is injured. It's going to be interesting. And then on the women's side, you mentioned her already, and it's sad to see that Chelsea women's Naomi Girma suffers another calf injury in her club debut. Kind of just a weekend of non-contact injuries for all our clubs. It was sad to see.
It was weird, and they tied, which I think is like only the second tie under Bonpastor, and so I remember the first tie that they had, and the post-match reactions from her were like, this is not good enough, blah, blah, blah. I can't believe it. These women are shite, blah, blah. I was like, damn.
Like, chill, bro.
All right, Sonia, I see you.
We're still them. It's all good.
But for Naomi, sending healing vibes and all that good stuff. But I think they'll be all right.
Didn't she miss the last 2 windows for the women's team too, the national team, if I'm not mistaken?
I believe so, yeah.
So just continuing to, delay.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, she did play for the Olympic run out back in the summer, but you mean like the
other windows,
international windows before? Yeah. My fault.
Yeah.
I hear you.
You're good, bro. It's all good. I'm just trying to end the episode, dog. That's all it is.
I want to keep going. No, go ahead.
Please. I know this is fun. It's a good time. We appreciate y'all kicking it with us on this week's episode of the Verdependent podcast. I'm Logan Bartley. Catch me on Twitter at LobarVHLM.
And I'm Paul Fletes. You can catch me on Twitter at PaulandreFC.
I wanted to make a quick note. Oh, sorry, it's a government name. That's the quickest note. Government name, obviously. Yeah. Sorry about that.
Yep.
But another note that for the league's correspondence pieces, right? We mentioned that we'll do that probably the first week of every month and just do a little bit of a 5 to 7 minute coverage of it. We kind of just did a menu of options here, looking at kind of all the quick little dips into different aspects of the league, the standings, the tables, the players. Let us know what you want to learn. I mean, some of you are Serie A fans, right? Already, lots of men's national team guys, lots of international players or stars in that league. So, if there's specifics you want to see, let us know. With the J-League, which I would imagine is more unknown for a lot of people, tell us. Do you want us to do a deep dive on a club? Do you want us to talk specifically about kind of the rising stars or the stars of the league? Get more specific, stay broad. Just let us know. Give us some feedback in the show comments and on social media. DM us, whatever you feel comfortable with.
Yes, please.
We just want to know. We want to provide interesting content, and it's interesting for us, but we want to make sure that there's some value for you as well. And as always, keep the chatter going online by following at the Verdependent on socials. We're on, all the ones. So find us. We're out there. It's the Verdependent everywhere. That's it. That's an episode, y'all. Peace. Paul, why are you screaming at me?
Oh my God.